Today, we are doing a complete deep dive on a plant that's, well, it's kind of part succulent, part tropical flower, and all living sculpture. We're talking about the desert rose, or Adenium obesum. If you've ever wanted to grow one of these stunning masterpieces, you are in exactly the right place.
You know, plant expert Anastasia Remeslo hit the nail on the head. She calls it a living sculpture, and that's the perfect way to think about it. This isn't just another houseplant, it's a piece of art that you get to help create. And like any great work of art, it has a few secrets, which we're about to uncover.
Okay, first things first, let's learn the most important word in the desert rose language, caudex. See that thick swollen trunk at the base? That's it. It's the plant's battery pack and its water tank all rolled into one. If it's firm, your plant is healthy and happy. If it's soft, well, that's a major red flag, and we'll talk about what to do about that in a bit.
So here's our game plan for today. First, we'll properly meet this living sculpture. Then, we'll get into the 3 golden rules of care. These are the non-negotiables. After that, we'll talk about the fun part, how to unlock those incredible blooms. We'll also cover troubleshooting common issues and wrap up with 5 pro tips that will take you to the next level. Let's dive in. All right, section 1. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of care, let's really get to know this plant and what makes it just so unique.
You might hear it called Sabi Star or Impala Lily, but it's all the same incredible plant. At its heart, it's a succulent that absolutely loves sunlight. It's a slow grower, which is part of what gives it that sculptural look over the years. But, and this is super important, you have to know that its sap is toxic, so always handle it with care and seriously wear gloves when you're pruning.
Okay, now for what I think is the most important part of this whole guide. If you want your desert rose not just to survive, but to truly thrive, you just have to master 3 golden rules: sun, water, and soil. Seriously, get these right, and you are 90% of the way there. Rule number 1, and it is completely non-negotiable, is sun. This plant is a true sun worshiper. We're talking a minimum of 6 hours of direct, bright sunlight every single day. Think of it this way: sunlight is its main meal. Anything less is just a snack, and it won't be enough. That sun fuels everything, from a healthy caudex to that explosion of flowers we all want. So where does it go? The absolute gold standard, the jackpot, is a south-facing window. A west-facing window that gets all that intense afternoon sun is a pretty solid second choice. But please avoid north-facing windows, and any spot that only gets indirect or filtered light, it's just not going to work for this plant.
Golden rule number 2 is all about water, and I want you to remember this phrase: drought and deluge. You're going to mimic its natural desert home. When you water deeply. I mean, drench the soil until water is pouring out of the drainage holes. But then, and this is key, you let it get completely 100% bone dry before you even think about watering it again.
Think of this slide as your diagnostic cheat sheet. On the right, a shriveled, wrinkled caudex. That's just the plant saying, hey, I'm a little thirsty. No big deal, just give it a drink. But on the left, a soft, squishy caudex. That is a 5-alarm fire. That's a sign of root rot, and it is the single fastest way to kill a desert rose. Which leads us perfectly to golden rule number 3, soil. The soil's main job really is to prevent that root rot we just talked about. Its job is to get rid of water fast. Using standard potting soil is basically a death sentence for this plant. It just holds onto way too much moisture. You absolutely must use a gritty, fast-draining cactus or succulent mix.
And hey, if you really want to create the absolute perfect home for your plant, making your own mix is the way to go. And it's so easy. You just start with 1 part potting soil, just for a little bit of organic material. Then you add 2 parts perlite or pumice. That creates all these little air pockets for the roots. And finally, mix in 1 part coarse sand or fine gravel. That's what ensures the water just rushes right through. With a mix like this, root rot becomes almost impossible.
Okay, so you've nailed the golden rules. Your plant is alive, it's healthy, its caudex is firm. Awesome. Now let's level up. We're moving from basic survival to the grand prize, that show-stopping display of flowers.
So what is the secret? What does it really take to get that incredible explosion of color? You might think it's some complicated secret gardener's trick, but honestly, the answer is way simpler than you'd think. The answer is 3. That's it. There are just 3 keys you need to turn to unlock all of those gorgeous blooms. And hey, look familiar? The foundation is what we've already covered: maximum sun and proper drought and deluge watering. The only new thing we're adding to the mix here is regular fertilizer every 2 to 4 weeks during the growing season. That's the trifecta. If your plant isn't blooming, I am willing to bet it's because you're falling short on one of these 3 things. It's almost always that simple.
Now, there is one more pro-level trick for getting more flowers, and that's pruning. You see, the flowers only appear on new growth. So if you do a strategic prune in early spring, you force the plant to push out a ton of new branches, which means a ton more flowers. And I'm gonna say it again because it's that important. Remember, the sap is toxic. Always, always wear gloves for this job.
Of course, even when you're doing everything right, sometimes things can still go a little sideways. And that's okay. This next section is all about taking that moment of panic when you see a yellow leaf and turning it into a moment of calm, confident action.
You're gonna notice a really clear pattern on this chart. Squishy caudex, yellow leaves, stunted growth. It almost always comes back to our golden rules. Usually too much water or not enough sun. And if you're not getting those beautiful blooms, it's a simple checklist. Not enough sun, not enough fertilizer, or maybe it didn't get a proper cool, dry rest period over the winter.
Pests can pop up from time to time, though it's less common. Just keep an eye out for little aphids on new growth, those white, cottony mealybugs hiding in crevices, or the fine webs that signal spider mites. But here's the good news. All of them are pretty easy to treat with this simple insecticidal soap.
We're in the home stretch now. You know the rules, you know how to get blooms, and you know how to troubleshoot. These final 5 tips are what will take you from being just a good plant owner to being a true desert rose pro.
Let's run through these real quick. First, and if you remember nothing else, remember this: when in doubt, drought. It is always safer to wait to water. Second, sun is food, not a snack. Third, embrace dormancy. When it drops its leaves in fall, don't panic, it needs that rest. Fourth, to get that amazing exposed root look, just lift the caudex up a tiny bit every time you repot. And finally, prune for power. A good hard prune in the spring equals an explosion of flowers in the summer.
And there it is, the complete owner's manual for the desert rose. You know its secrets, you understand its language, and you've seen the incredible rewards. So the only question left is, are you ready to add this living masterpiece to your home? Because as you've seen, the results are absolutely worth it.